Teddy Talks.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Teddy Talks After Hours, where we pause, rewind, and unpack each episode. And this one's for grown-ups only. Maybe your kids are after school activities, or maybe they're off to bed, but now we can talk, straight up to the parents and the educators out there listening. And I'm here with Margarita Olivero Golden, our guest on Teddy Talks today. And fun fact, an incredible baker. Y'all, if you want your cake to look like other things and ask yourself, is it cake? This is your gal. Okay. So, Margarita, would you take just a hot second to shout out your Instagram account so people can behold the glory that is your cakes?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for having me. So my Instagram page is at Confectionery Home.
All right. You definitely want to go check that out. And I wish that Margarita lived closer to me so all of my children's birthday cakes could look like other things. In fact, it would be so great if we could have one that looks like Grizzlette. We can work on that, okay?
We could totally do that.
All right. Stay tuned, everyone. All right. Let's dig in a little bit. So, Margarita, this episode was all about following your dreams, which I know is one, that's very important to you personally. So let's pause first. Yeah. And by the way, if you're a Teddy Talks listener, you just got to lean into the puns. It's going to happen. All right. So, Margarita, let me know, why is this topic of following your dreams important to you?
Well, like I said in the episode, I've had lots of jobs and I've always worked with really wonderful people. There were points in my life where I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I took some of these jobs and had a great experience, but always felt like I was sort of going through the motions. I kind of felt like a robot. It wasn't until I listened to what I wanted to do and followed my dreams that I really found happiness at work. I thought work was something that you did to kind of afford to pay for the things that make you happy outside of the office. I didn't know that I could work and be happy kind of at the same time. So I don't know. I just found that if I took a beat and listened to myself, listened to what I wanted to do, I was able to achieve both. I was able to find happiness in the workplace.
Yeah, it's like you said to the Teddy twins, like if you find something you love, you'll never work a day in your life, right? So
Right.
How fun is it to be a baker, by the way, and just make like beautiful things all day long?
It is the most fun. I find that I work and I work and I work and I work, and people say, you're taking on too much. You need to do less. The reason that I work so much is because I can't stop, because I'm having so much fun doing it. I could probably wrap up some of these cakes in a few hours, but I find myself going and adding and adding and adding because it's just so much fun.
Well, I embrace that type of workaholism because I am cut from the same cloth. I love connecting with parents and kids and students and getting onto Teddy Talks. I could do Teddy Talks like all day, every day, and it wouldn't ever feel like work to me. So I can appreciate that. Let's rewind this episode a little bit. So in this episode, the Teddy twins learned in your Teddy Talk that others may not think your dream is realistic, but you can go ahead and still follow them anyway. And they also learned that you can do things just for fun, even if it's not your job. So interestingly, I don't know if you know this episode is semi-autobiographical. So my youngest daughter, a couple years ago, I was making a vision board because that's what I do. And she's like, I want to make one. I'm like, let's do this. So she gets out her, scissors and magazines, and she put on her vision board, she wanted to be a pastry taster. She also wanted to be, I think it was inventor of a jetpack to be a cloud toucher.
Oh, nice.
So kids really have some big ideas out there. And then one of her friends like poo-pawed her dreams. And then we talked it out just like we did with Grizzle and Grizzlette. So let's rewind maybe when you were little or younger and you dreamed about what you wanted to be, and maybe you weren't a vision board kind of gal, but did anyone ever like poo-paw your dreams about being a baker?
I feel like people still poo-paw. I don't know. I think you look back at when you didn't know what you wanted to do and it felt like the sky was a limit, that you could do anything, and you run to your mom or run to your dad and tell them, I want to do this, I want to do that. And when it's met with excitement, it is such a great thing because your imagination just kind of goes wild and you really do feel like you can do anything. I remember being really excited. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a vet. I wanted to be all the things. At one point, I wanted to be a marine biologist, and somebody told me that I wouldn't be very good at selling lobsters at the grocery store. And I was like, well, I don't want to sell lobsters at the grocery store. I didn't know that's what they did. So anyhow, a little confusion there on that on that journey. But I remember it feeling really yucky when somebody told me I couldn't do something. And there are some people that motivates them to push and say, you tell me I can't do it, I'm going to do it 10 times and then I'm going to show you, which is kind of what has driven me. So I remember baking with my mom and spending a lot of time with her in the kitchen. She always made dinner for us every night of the week. It didn't matter what we had going on. And I loved spending that time with her. And that's, I think, where my interest in food started. Lucky for me, I had a family and friends who were always very supportive. When I had an idea, they always supported it. It didn't matter how crazy the idea was. So my dad actually recently pulled out a little sketch of a restaurant that I had drawn out when I was a little girl. I had sketched the chairs and the outdoor seating area and the kitchen, and I came up with a menu, and he found it. He had saved it ever since I was a little kid. So that I'll be framing that here shortly. But ever since I was a little girl, it looked like I wanted to go into the food industry, to open something of my own. That was kind of shelved when reality hits in and you have bills to pay and you want a 401k and you realize what it's like to be an adult. But as soon as I thought to myself, I can't continue living this robotic work lifestyle, I'm going to take a risk. That's when everything kind of came together for me.
Thank you for sharing that backstory. And let's time travel for a moment. Woo, time travel to little Margarita. What advice would you give her about following your dreams? What do you wish your younger self knew back then when you were drawing those pictures of your dream job?
So I think that one of the things that scared me when I was younger was not having a plan, not knowing what steps I needed to take to get to whatever goal this was. If you know you're a doctor, you want to be a doctor, you go and you study pre-med, you go to med school, there are certain steps you have to take. When you don't know exactly what it is that you want to do, you don't know what the steps are, you don't know how to prepare. So I think what I would tell my younger self is to just continue being a yes girl. You get an opportunity to do something really cool, just do it, try it. You don't really know where that job is going to take you. If you have a windy path, enjoy the windy path and just go with it.
That is sound advice for not just little ones out there, but adults who are maybe still finding their way. Let's unpack this just a smidgen more. At Teddy Talks, our tagline is big ideas for little ears. But we have adult listeners rapt attention right now. So what is one thing that you want the big ear listeners out there right now to know about how to talk to their kids about their dreams?
Yeah. So I definitely see so much value in supporting your kids, no matter how crazy the dream. Chances are their dreams are going to change 1,000 times before they actually get to a place where they're going to be pursuing it. So I would say if your kid, my oldest son is convinced he is going to be a pitcher for the Astros, for the Houston Astros when he grows up. And he lives every day of his life as though he is in training to become that person. And as long as he's putting in the work, he's putting in the effort, we're right there behind him. I think supporting your kid in these dreams is the only way. And they can decide as they go what they want to do eventually.
100%. I think that, when my little one made her vision board, I mean, she could still be inventor of a jetpack to be a cloud toucher. This could happen. We don't know, there's a lot going on with technology these days. But really, when kids are saying, I want to be this when I grow up, it's especially the younger kids, I'm interested in this. This is something that I think is fun. And so we can, as you suggest, really just embrace their natural curiosity, and they don't have these adult limits on them. They don't think, well, is there a 401k with that jetpack idea that I have? So I really love that message that you've sent to parents out there listening. All right. So here's a very big bonus question. Okay. Fun fact, actually, Margarita and I go way back to many, many years ago. We were footloose, fancy free in San Francisco. We can't talk about it on a children's podcast, but we had a great time together. And I don't know if you remember this, but my childhood bear has traveled with me everywhere I've gone, from when I was little and to, graduate school all the way to today. So Grizzlette is my childhood bear. She did live in the apartment in San Francisco. I don't know if you remember Grizzlette, but now she's a star. And her brother Grizzle was my sister's bear. So we used to talk it out and play it out with them. And I think there's something really special about bringing our own younger selves to the work we do. I would love to hear from you. Like, do you have a favorite item from childhood, like a bear or a lovey? Like, tell us a little story. Tell us a bedtime story, Margarita.
I wish that I had this lovely story about a bear that has traveled with me, but my lubby was actually a little rag that I used to carry around. It was like a cleaning towel that my mom had, as a little square white cleaning towel, and it was called Ninga Ninga. And that was my lubby that I used to take with me everywhere. I don't know where Ninga Ninga is. I don't know that I had a lot of support in my love for Ninga Ninga. It's gone. I don't know where it is. It doesn't travel with me anymore. But I will say, as an adult, almost every object in my house has some sort of meaning. I don't have sort of, Pier 1 Imports, whatever lamps I have. Everything that I have came from an experience, came from a family member, came from that trip that we took. So I feel that a lot of value can be placed, and there's a lot of comfort in these objects that surround me at home. I don't know where Ninga Ninga is, though. It's actually a tragic story. It's a tragic story.
I have so many follow-up questions about it. Like, what does that even mean?
Which part? It's nothing. It doesn't mean anything.
It's not.
It doesn't. My parents are Guatemalan. There's a lot of nicknames in the culture. My nickname is Tita. My brother's nickname is Gordo. We all have these nicknames. Typically, it comes from not being able to pronounce a word when you're little, and whatever that is, it just sticks. Ninga Ninga.
It's going to live rent-free in my head forever and ever.
Oh, I'm so glad I could help.
As I try to figure out what word were you trying to approximate for a dirty old rag.
It was a clean rag. It was always clean.
Oh my gosh. I hope one day you open up a box, Thanksgiving at your mom's house, and Ninga Ninga is there greeting you.
It would be amazing. It would be amazing. At this point, it'd be more of a prank, but I still look forward to it.
Wonderful. So for all of you adult listeners out there with your own variation of Ninga Ninga or Grizzlette, I think it's so important that we look back and remember what it was like to be a kid. And that's what Teddy Talks is all about. It's about not only parenting the kids we have, but reparenting ourselves to learn, like, wow, if I had a do-over, how would I do that? And I think all of you out there listening, Margarita's wisdom doesn't just apply to kids. Go follow your dreams. And thank you so much, Margarita, for being here. And we'll see everyone else on the next episode of Teddy Talks.
Thank you so much for having me.
Bye, everyone.
Teddy Talks. Teddy Talks. Teddy Talks. Teddy Talks.